Acting week 13, guys. You know what is up. What has been going on this past week? It's been about 10 days since my last log, so it's been a bit of a gap here. And I last time I was talking, I was like, okay, I got to potentially look for another job, um, just based on like the sheer volume of work. I had done two interviews with a different job. For those who don't know and who are brand new here, I got into an acting program in Toronto. I'm heading there in September. This past week, I was actually in town in Toronto for a neighborhood concert. Dude, what a show! I didn't fit in there at all. Like I stood out like wild, but it was like I knew probably like all the words to most of the songs that they performed. Um, and it was a great show. Sweater weather hits so hard. Super super fruity, but that's all right. That's life. But while I was there, I stopped at the college I'm heading to, and I walked around. It's pretty small. There's nothing like it was kind of cool to be on campus. Um, I'm just gonna go in first semester with an open mind because honestly, I man, I'm still really hesitant to be like, hey, oh, like as soon as I do this program, like oh, bajillionaire Brad Pitt actor. It's like, bro, Jason Statham got plucked off the street because he looked a specific way. McConaughey was in a bar with Don Phillips. Like, just sometimes, man, it seems like most of the time it's like right person, right place. And I went down the rabbit hole today of like um, the actor stats. Um, Most like 66% of actors phase out after their first full year of trying to do it full time. Um, so if you endure a year, you're already in the top 30%. It's not too bad. Um, Beyond that, most are below the poverty line. 0.1% actually make paying careers. 0.0001% or something, like make like the big bucks. Um, so you know what? Maybe I will get lucky. Maybe I won't, man. But I was having a little reflection on a drive last week. I was like, what's really a wasted life? What does that actually look like? Like say I'm one of the unlucky individuals that gets cancer or something at 40 years old, or has some accident, um, and I'm not I don't make it to like 80 years old. Let's say that happens. Um, God willing, it does. But say it didn't. What would a fulfilled life for me look like? I don't think it's working in a cubicle. I don't think it's working as a mover as I am at present. Um, and I wouldn't really like change any of the other directions that I'm headed. It's like it's kind of like a shoot from the hip. Like just see if we can do it. Um, I will need luck, and I will need God to will it if it's in His plan. Um, and I feel confident in saying that because if He told me to pursue acting, and He gave me repeated signals. Um, those who have ever done meditation, and who have any degree of body awareness, um, the way that I perceive God speaking to me, and He speaks to each of us differently, is I get there's this tightness or this resistance, specifically in my chest and in my throat, that comes up, and it feels a very specific acidic kind of way that it rises up. Um, and when I get those feelings, it's God, it's the Holy Spirit working, God telling me, hey man, don't do that. That's not what you should be doing. And I was getting that intensely when I was doing my own business, and when I was in high ticket sales for a couple of years, where I was going through this resistance. And like even with sales, when I think about like the sheer luck factor, I think God like nerfed every chance that I could have been successful And I'm so happy that he did. I'm so happy that he did, because if I had just been making, the dream was 20K a month and working at the beach or whatever. If I was doing that, I wouldn't be pursuing what I am now. It would be just a different form of a wasted life. It would just be a different form of like a cubicle life. It'd be like, let me just save up this amount of money and then I can sort of retire, and then I'll pursue the arts, and then that day would never come, and then I have a family and responsibility, and then I'm just stuck in this inevitable cycle forever. I could foresee that. I could see that now in retrospect. At the time, I was like super frustrated. I'm like, man, why does it keep not working? Why do I keep missing? And then I was on YouTube for years, making hundreds of videos, self-improvement, basketball, dating, all these different things. I tried a bunch of topics, and it was like, I'm glad that those didn't work out. I wanted them to so bad at the time. I wanted them to so bad at the time, but they didn't. And praise God, because I would have been so far off in the wrong direction. I would have been some jackass course seller bro in Thailand. And then I'd be in the exact same position that I am now. Probably spend a whole bunch of money. Probably be, just not doing this, not trying to pursue acting, and I'm not doing it like it. I'm just trying to just figure it out right now, and I'm not saying I'm doing it perfectly at all. There's probably a million things that I could be doing better right now, but man, I look at it like, what a blessing, because like all the YouTubers, we can say, oh, there's all this strategy for doing super well, but the algorithm's a bit of luck and just enough attrition to get by and just get lucky. The sales world, or just that success in that space, is like a little bit of attrition, and then you find the right opportunity at the right time and you have the right skill set. Bajillions, right? It's like this little bit of luck. Like every single person that I know from sales, who I was and am still buddies with, figured out how to make something work, and figured out how to make consistent money, or pivoted and figured out something else in some other realm. YouTube, like I've seen a bunch of people just pop off just out of nowhere, and I don't think that they make videos that are like crazier than I did, and or like much better than I did, but it's like, man, God is so much smarter than we ever could be. And we want to feel this control. We want to feel this, like, if I just hold on tighter, I can control it better. It's like, dog, you're not even in the driver's seat. And I know that there's like full-on Calvinism versus Arminianism, which is like, predestination versus like sovereignty and free will. Somewhere in there's the truth, but I think like, man, when it comes to those types of opportunities, especially like in the creative fields, there's been studies that have been done of like, certain random independent music artists that just pop off, that are successful, and then they compare it with like a control group of like what's the highest quality music rated, and then they randomly sort it, and it's completely random. Like one song that's rated in one group as number 1 is rated number 40 in a different one, and like number 26 in another one. It's like, it's not set in stone. It's not based on the quality. It's just based on the appearance of like how it looks to other people. So it's like, man, there's so many uncontrollable factors, and there's like, and then everybody's getting on a podcast and be like, oh, I did it this way, you should buy my course. It's like, bro, your thing worked out probably because you did the right thing at the right time in the right place. Not because you have some magical Midas touch and everything you do is on fire. It's like, this is why I like McConaughey and I appreciate him, is because he's like, yeah, I got lucky. Actors would kill for my chance. Like I met the right guy at the right time at the right bar. Like, that is the truth, that there was just luck. And once you're at like a baseline level of skill, then it's just that surface area luck. This is why I post on social media, because if people know what I'm doing, then they'll maybe think of me when they're thinking about a project, or this can inspire somebody else, or just put my name out there, and it's beneficial to my career as well as other people that are engaged within my community. Also, guys, I've been writing a lot on Substack. If you want to check it out, cool. If you don't, cool. I think it's fun, and I've been liking that a lot lately. But the luck is so relevant. It's so present that it cannot be overstated. It's like all the film schools are like, oh, look at our testimonials of like, look at how this person got successful. It's like, maybe it was you guys. Maybe it was 100% you guys. But probably it was 5 other variables or an impossible intersection between 2 points that one could only describe as fate or God, and I perceive it to be God, where God manufactures these interactions. And I feel like he's called me to do this. And a fear that manifests for me right now is like, okay, what if it felt right when I started my last business. It felt right plunging into sales. It felt right being a YouTuber. It felt right, trying out for the basketball team. And it's like, what if this is just another thing that I just do and I just try and it just doesn't work out? But at the end of the day, that the actual task in which you do doesn't matter so much as the purification of your spirit over the course of you doing the task. That's what matters more, is like who you become when you're pursuing the thing. It's like King David was a shepherd, right? And he was just out in the wilderness, and he was fighting lions and bears, and he was tending the sheep, and he was resentful, and he was angry. He's like, God, please drag me out of this. He was mad at his father because he kept him in the fields, and he kept him away from the rest of the family because he was the bastard son. And he saw all of this. He's like, God, I feel this call to greatness in my life. Why have you reserved me? What is this? And it was training grounds for the responsibility that would be laid on his shoulders, for the weight of a crown that he had to be a king before he could bear that. And this period of silence, I think, is relatable to a lot of people wherever you're at. I think it's relatable, where there's just sometimes you just feel like nothing's working out, and it's just, you're just plugging away, and it's just radio silence. But at the end of the day, I feel like if I try and just keep a pure heart and I try and just pursue what I love, which is movies. I love movies, man. And hey, maybe I think I really do want to be on camera, and I think that that's where my gifts lie, but maybe it's somewhere else within the film industry, and I don't know. I think it's just acting, and that's kind of tunnel vision of what I want to do, but hey, man, anything's possible. So I'm trying to just view this opportunity as growth, because at the end of the day, I'm in my parents' basement, 23 years old, currently working at a moving company, trying to save up money to go to acting school so I can get to Toronto and try and make some shit happen. But it's like, nothing's popping off, and that's where I'm at. And like at present, nobody's watching these. And like, look, I'm not complaining, bro. Like, because I know that God is using this time to shape my spirit. And, I'm still getting resistant to it. I call it like thrashing like an alligator. We have a golden doodle. His name's Murphy. And I think he looks, when he lays down, he looks like an alligator. I've been saying alligator a lot, alligator a lot in our household lately, which has been fun. But like the way that I see it is like be resistance and like trying to hustle bro it. That's thrashing like an alligator, is you're just freaking out. You're trying to override God. Essentially, you're saying, no, I know better. I did it today. I was looking at a bunch of old sales jobs that I know I shouldn't be doing. I got offered 2 interviews to do them. They're 100% commission, like just sleazy, bad throat feeling, like that tension, that acid that I get. And I just knew that I shouldn't be doing them, but yet I applied anyway. And then I'm like, okay, shit, like I shouldn't be doing this. So then I just blocked and deleted the emails, but it's like that temptation to constantly just like run back to like the safety nest, run back to like what's secure. I think the obsession in our culture, since we're in a secular culture, people have worshipped financial security instead of God. Because Christ says so many times, he says, do not worry about your life of what you will eat or drink. I think that's Matthew 25. Be like, look at the birds of the air. Like they're clothed better than Solomon in all of his splendor. But how much more important are you than thee? It's like, we don't need to worry about what God is going to provide us. But everything in our spheres is designed to sell us on lack, on feeling like we don't have enough, and feeling like, we need more, or we need to consume more, we need to get more secure. The myth of retirement, where it's like, oh, one day, you can save up enough in your account, and then, you'll earn interest over a long enough period of time. It's like, hey man, in our generation, with the present state of the world, it's like unlikely, very unlikely. So you might as well do something cool. That's my thought process, is like the normal path is and was always cooked, I think. And it's like I perceive little benefit to prioritizing financial security above what fills your spirit, because that feeling that I felt in sales and just doing other jobs, and even like being in university and like listening to like what other people wanted me to do, the dread and the deadness and the apathy that I felt was overwhelming, like almost to a point of like I just didn't want to be around anymore, if you know what I mean. And it's like that's an overwhelming feeling, and a really bad feeling. And it's like it's at a point where like I desperately want financial security. It's something to cling to. It's a little life raft. But if your security is in your finances, which can rot and be taken away from you and be tarnished, and it's not in God, then you have no reason for faith. The people who have the least amount of faith are those who are in the middle. Because those who are poor, those who are in poverty, they have a need for God because they're reliant on him, like, to provide, and they understand that God puts breath in their lungs, and he gives them the provisions to still sustain and be alive, unless they deeply turn away from him. Obviously nuance there, but rich people have so many blessings and so many like amazing things. They're like, wow, man, this is a little bit of luck. This is a little bit of like, hey, God has given me a gift here. The most common faith is at the top and the bottom. It's not in the middle. So the middlemost jobs, I find, where there's this least amount of faithfulness, there's this obsession with financial security, this obsession with lifestyle, where you constantly need to keep up with the Joneses and try and get ahead, and try and get promoted so you can make an extra $5 an hour, and then work an extra 5 hours of work every single week, and then one day you can become a supervisor or a manager or an executive and do all this stuff. It's like, what's the trade-off, man? What's the trade-off? What really matters? Like, say you're living your life, you're pursuing, you're just existing, and then say you're one of those unlucky bastards that just gets sick. 50-50, the movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He gets cancer and he's like 31, and it's like terminal, and he has a very low chance of survival. And he's 31, and he basically just like quits his job, and he's like just screw this. Like, I don't need to be with the same girlfriend who treats me bad. I don't need to be at this job who like doing stuff that I just don't care about. It's like his whole life exploded. And it's like, if you're one of those people that is just like following the normal path, it's like, and man, not like do your own thing. This ain't advice, but how I want to live my life if I just prioritize financial security and that's like my end all be all, yes, I would satisfy a lot of the questions that I get from people in my life and those who pass judgment in passing, because that's the world that we live in, and that's people's god. It's financial security. Oh, I need a job. I need a job. Or oh, you need to get a promotion. You need to. If you get a job, then you should get a second job, and then you get a mortgage. And then oh, where's your girlfriend? I'm like, it's just like this little tick box of a stereotypical unhappy life that follows the same trajectory. It's like, in order to get different results, you need different actions than what's just being mass produced. So, and therefore, the way that I see it is like, I might as well try, roll the dice a few more times, try and get lucky. Because I haven't been lucky so far. A basketball team didn't work out. Sales didn't work out. Businesses didn't work out. YouTube didn't work out. Hey man, next play mentality. You don't know how I live. That's it. Because anything is possible, especially when you have God putting wind in your sails and breath in your lungs, which is the way that I feel right now. I feel so blessed to be given this chance to strive for this goal and do it in a way that glorifies God. I feel like it amps me up, And I feel like just living every day, even if I'm in poverty for the next 20 years, but I'm just like amped up and I'm like digging what I'm doing. I feel like that trade-off of like not being financially secure is worth it, even though being broke sucks. And you guys saw me a few weeks ago. I was like, can't buy like normal household like normal items. Just don't have enough money in my account. One grocery store I was at didn't take my specific type of credit card, and I didn't have enough money in my debit account. So then I had to return all the groceries back, and it's like, that sucks. That really sucks. But money is not my God. I expect that money will come as a byproduct for the love of the game. And in droves, in abundance, in the, not prosperity gospel, but I just think that loving the game and trying to do something really well, and I don't know, fortune favors the bold. How many quotes can I say in a fucking video? But yeah, this is week 13. I compiled a new list of some agencies, and I think I'm gonna book some headshots the next couple weeks. Because I'm getting ready to also start changing up all my social media and make the announcement to like my personal Instagram and stuff that I'm pursuing acting, and I change up my LinkedIn, do all that. So that'll be fun once I got the headshots for it, and then it's time to submit to a bunch of agencies in TO. I gotta figure out how to put together a resume. But yeah, guys, I'm fired up. Amped up at 10 p.m. on this Thursday. Got work tomorrow morning. All right, take it easy.